Good afternoon and welcome. The city of Summersville is honored to host WVU University and its president, Gordon Gee. Welcome. President Gee, we thank you for your hands-on approach, making a difference in West Virginia communities. We as a small community here in the city of Summersville are extremely proud of our flagship university and the impact it has made on our community through youth and its citizens, through your leadership. Thank you, Dr. Gee. I truly believe the fruits of your labor will be realized in this great state for many, many years to come. Today, we have a room full of so many impactful, important people: elected officials, community leaders, business leaders, alumni, friends, and fans, all whom deserve recognition. Unfortunately, the time frame of our agenda today does not allow us to recognize 150 people. So at this time, I want to thank all of you for being here today. Thank you. If I could just take a minute and talk a little bit about my personal engagement with West Virginia University, bringing programs and services to my community. I proudly serve as a member of the West Virginia University Extension Visiting Committee, and also was recently selected to serve on the newly formed Division Advisory Committee to help shape the future of West Virginia University Davis College, West Virginia Extension Service, and WVU Center for Community Engagement. This is all under the esteemed leadership of Dr. Jorge Atiles. One of the many gifts of President Gee has been his ability to surround himself with other great leaders. Dr. Atiles is a champion and has done so much for the platform educating West Virginia University students and our state citizens through West Virginia Extension Service. I can never thank him enough. Dr. Atiles, it's been my honor and privilege to be engaged with our local agents, of which you're sitting with. The passion displayed through their work and the incredible work they do in our community through the programs of WVU Extension, and then just their mere commitment to be good citizens, is unbelievable. And we thank you for their product. It's an honor to be on your team, sir, and I'm proud to call you a friend. The city of Summersville is a proud partner of West Virginia University and also WVU Medicine. At this time, what I'd like to do is move into the invocation, and I would ask the West Virginia State Director of Young Life to come and give us our invocation. Oh, okay, I guess it's just not our president that has snafus. Scott Berg.
Thanks. Please join me in prayer as I offer a prayer of thanksgiving from the Book of Common Prayer. Accept, O Lord, our thanks and praise for all that you have done for us. We thank you for the splendor of the whole creation, for the beauty of this world, for the wonder of life, and for the mystery of love. We thank you for the blessing of family and friends, and for the loving care which surrounds us on every side. We thank you for setting us at tasks that demand our best efforts, and for leading us to accomplishments that satisfy and delight us. We thank you also for those disappointments and failures that lead us to acknowledge our dependence on you alone. Above all, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, for the truth of his word and the example of his life, for his steadfast obedience by which he overcame temptation, for his dying through which he conquered death, and for his rising to life again, in which we are raised to the life of your kingdom. Grant us the gift of your Spirit, that we may know Christ and make him known, and through him, at all times and in all places, may give thanks to you in all things and for the food we are about to consume. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Scott. Okay, now I would ask Maddie Buckner to please come forward. Maddie is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Maddie's an incredible young lady. She's so engaged in her community. And the other exciting thing about it is she is also a member of the Nicholas County chapter of 4-H. Maddie's a 10th grader at Nicholas County High School.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Maddie. Okay, folks, enjoy your lunch. Okay, I hope everybody enjoyed your lunch and continue to eat, and dessert looks delicious, so be sure to have some. What I'd like to do is get started. We've got some speakers and then we'll get to our keynote speaker, but before we do, I would like to recognize somebody in the room. I think it's pretty neat. We all love our Mountaineer, and it's really neat when the Mountaineer comes from the great county of Nicholas. So Braden, please stand up to be recognized. Thanks for being with us, Braden, and we wish you the best with your tour this year. I got to get my glasses. You know, as any community, we're blessed with great people in our community, and as you'll look at your program, we have two speakers today, Steve Ferguson and Steve Analine, and the first thing and most important thing about both of those guys to me is I can call them friends. The second thing I'll tell you about both of them is I asked for some words to say about both of them, their resumes, and I thought encyclopedias were a thing of the past. So their resumes are incredible, and both of them have done wonderful things in their lives, in their businesses, but most important about both of them, and I'll go with Steve Ferguson now, is their families. And also their belief in God and being godly men. Steve Ferguson is married to his lovely wife, Joy, and that is the best part about Steve. And Steve and Joy have 4 kids and 6 grandkids. Steve actually graduated from WVU in 1978. I couldn't find the year in Steve Analine's resume, but Steve graduated in 1978. The Summersville community is so blessed to have Steve Ferguson in our midst. He's an entrepreneur, he's a philanthropist, and he believes in public service and giving back to his community all the time. He's always willing to step up and make a difference to make the lives of our community and the great state of West Virginia citizens better. My friend, Steve Ferguson.
Thank you, Robert, for those kind words. I'm very, very humbled to be asked to speak today about the relationship and the alignment of West Virginia University, West Virginia Medicine, and our Nicholas County area. One problem was they stay on schedule and everything, and they said, you got 3 to 5 minutes. Well, I did my little notes and whatever, and I was up to about 18 or 20 minutes. We'll have to really cut this down, so I'm going to probably talk pretty fast, but I'll tell you right up front, if anybody wants to learn more about some of the things that I'm going to talk to you, I'll be glad to talk to you anytime. I love West Virginia. I love Nicholas County. I love West Virginia University and what West Virginia Medicine's going to be able to do, and I feel very privileged to have had a front row seat for this. In 2018, I was asked to go on the West Virginia Hospital Board. It's kind of a complex, I'm not going to get into a structure, but it has Ruby and it had Summersville. I was actually on the Summersville board at the time, the hospital. So I accepted. I said, well, I'll go wherever you think that I need to be the best that can, for our local community, where can I be the best asset? And so I went on to West Virginia in 2018, and I was very surprised. I must have not messed up too bad, because they asked me to go on the system-wide board in 2019, and I was appointed by Governor Justice. It's a governor-appointed position in 2019. And I'm very proud of that. And the only reason I say that is because I've really had a front row seat to watch West Virginia Medicine, West Virginia University do their thing, for lack of a better word. So I thank you for that opportunity. I want to welcome my good friend, President Gordon Gee. I've got to know Gordon real well, and I'm proud to be able to call him my friend. I'd like to welcome all the WVU representatives here to Nicholas County that's in-house that came down from West Virginia University. And I'd like to welcome, we have a lot of people that represent West Virginia medicine here today. They can't hear me? Closer? Absolutely. I'm used to not even using a speaker. I can speak pretty loud when I want to. Can everybody hear me okay? To understand West Virginia University and West Virginia medicine relationship, it's a tightly aligned relationship. And West Virginia University, by saying that, West Virginia University by statute, has the majority number of board seats on West Virginia medicine. And by statute, the president of West Virginia University is the chair of the board. So let's talk a little bit about the relationship between Summersville, Nicholas County, West Virginia, and West Virginia medicine. Clear back in 1990 to 95, there were some friends and alumni in Nicholas County that raised, over a 5-year period, $60,000. And under the name of the Nicholas County Alumni and Friends Chapter, we endowed a scholarship, and I called up last week to see where that stood. I was actually the treasurer of that effort. And out of that $60,000, over the last 30 years, we've given out $78,000 in scholarships, and the fund still has a $98,000 value. So that's just awesome, what we were able to do. We are aligned with West Virginia University Athletics by having a large donor base here. We have a passionate fan base, and Dr. Gee, I would challenge any community that you go to, and I'm very proud of it, about the money that is raised here for our athletic departments, more importantly about the fan base and the passion. Whether it's football, basketball, our golf team, men's soccer, women's soccer, baseball, when WVU, West Virginia University, sports does well, there's an extra get up in our step around here. But win or lose, this has just always been a great fan base, and I know it's a large donor base that supports a lot of tickets. We're about an hour and 50 minutes from Morgantown, unless you drive with Chief Nowak, and you're probably 1 hour 20 or something to get up to those games. So we try to get up to those games as much as we can, and I see Stevie LaRose there, and he'll tell you about the group that they have that goes up and travels to away games. So I'm very proud of our passionate fan base. The other way we align ourselves here in Nicholas County with West Virginia University and West Virginia Medicine is our local foundation, which has $6.7 million, 54 fund holders. And I'm fortunate to be the treasurer of that foundation, so I see the checks go out, and there is a lot of checks written by our foundation to West Virginia University in the form of tuition scholarships for a lot of our kids. There's also several donor-advised funds within that group, and there is money sent to West Virginia Children's as well as West Virginia 4-H is supported in those groups. Most recently, In June of 2018, it was no secret, our local hospital was struggling, not unlike most rural hospitals across the state. We were down to less than a week's cash flow. I know there was a lot of conversations. It's a city-owned hospital, and our city council was having a lot of conversation with the local hospital board about loans and what they were going to do. And my hats are off to city leadership, both Mayor Schaefer, City Recorder Gary Withy, the town council. They started looking for a partner to help with our hospital. Well, in 2018, we entered into a management agreement with West Virginia Medicine. And it was kind of interesting to watch on the outside. I had just gone on the board of West Virginia Medicine, kind of watch that transpire a little bit. But it's kind of interesting because usually you're trying to sell something or whatever. Well, West Virginia Medicine came in after about a couple months and said, look, you can come into the system, but we're going to need about a $2 million influx of cash for that to happen. And to Mayor Schaefer's credit, he started raising money. And from October of 19 to December of 2019, this community, and if you'll just hold your applause just a second, but this community raised $2 million. I want to recognize Bill and Patty Bright, who offered a $1 million match if we could raise the other $1 million. My good friend Steve Ant, there was a lot of people that were involved in that. They had fundraisers raising $500 at the hospital. But we had some large contributors step up in Steve and Jamie Anline and Bruce and Pam Ferguson, my mother Lucille Ferguson, as well as the LaRose family. And we raised $1 million, the city did, and Mayor Schaefer, and it was matched by the Bright family with $1 million. And we said, okay, WVU Medicine, we've done our part. And they took us into the system, and that was a great milestone. When I said hold your applause, I was waiting until after I got the bill right now. But I do want to recognize that. In July of 2019, we became a full-fledged member of the system. What's that mean? Well, I like to look at things as return on investment. Summersville Regional Medical Center is one of the largest employers with 380 full-time equivalents here in Nicholas County. Our Board of Education, which is a public employer, has 550 employees and is probably our largest employer. So it's definitely in the top three and maybe, I'm not sure Walmart's numbers, but maybe our largest private employer. Summersville Regional Medical Center now generates $178 million in annual sales, pays out $27 million in annual wages, and more importantly, it positions Summersville Regional Medical Center to deliver better health care for our citizens, and that is priceless. So I want to take, who is Summersville Regional Medical Center? I want to take a minute to welcome a couple new people to our local community that has been assigned leadership duties here in Summersville so that you can meet with them when you get a chance after the thing and know who they are. If John Forster and Dr. David Hess, if you would stand just a minute. Can you just stand just a minute? They, along with our local board, John Foster, Wayne Young, Greg Sprouls, Jamie Anline, Dr. Brad Willis, and Dr. Hess sits on the board, will lead the future. I've already had several conversations with both these gentlemen, and I knew Dr. Hess through my relationship with the board. He was up in Maryland, and he is now the President and CEO of United Healthcare in Clarksburg. And he's going to be a great partner, and I've had several conversations how important we think it is for our regional medical center to be involved in our community. And I'm sure that's going to happen. So thank you both, and welcome. Welcome to Summersville. Let me look at the bigger picture real quick. West Virginia Medicine System, and some of these numbers are mind-boggling. The bigger picture is WVU Medicine System has 24 campuses across 4 states, Maryland, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Ohio. 2,800 certified beds, 33,000 employees, which makes us the largest, WVU Medicine, the largest employer in West Virginia. $6 billion, that is with a B, $6 billion in revenue, $3 billion in wages is spent annually back into these local communities in the system. I was privileged to look at the capital plan going forward, and between $400 and $500 million a year for the next 5-year capital plan will be spent back in capital investments in each of these 24 hospitals. Of that 33,000 employees, we have 3,000 medical staff members, 1,500 physicians, and 600 medical and graduate students. So if you do that ratio, so when you think about running a hospital, you need, for every doctor or medical staff, you need 10 support group. That's our dietary, that's our housekeeping, that's our security, and that is so, so important to support. So for every one medical team we have 10 support group. Albert Wright, who's the CEO, and I call him the architect of our 24 system, our 24 hospital system. He has done a great job. The previous board, before I ever got on there, did the interview. He was there, and they hired him, and they made a great hire. But I want to make this very, very clear. President Gordon Gee is the visionary. Albert Wright is the architect. But President Gee wanted to bring more quality, cheaper health care to rural areas. And that is one of our missions. And some of the talent that West Virginia University Medicine has been able to hire that we are going to get the benefit of. They may not be full-time employees here, but we're going to get the benefit of that. Those are priceless, priceless things. So President Gee, thank you. Thank you for investing with us. I'm getting ready to close. I'm trying to talk as fast as I can because I don't want to take away from our other speakers. But I always have been under the business model of win-win situations. So why is this a win-win situation? Well, first of all, it's a win for WVU Medicine to be here in Summersville. You have 20-some thousand vehicles a day going down 19, and they see that WV flying flag on our water tank right there on our campus every day, and what a great advertisement that is. Summersville is the north gate, I call it the north gate, to the New River Gorge National Park. We are also, Summersville is going to have the newest West Virginia State Park at the Summersville Lake State Park. Our city's leadership is progressive and has a lot of projects, millions of dollars of projects between a sports complex, a travel center, and many other million-dollar investments they are putting back in our city. We are about to make, our local school board is about to make a $170 million investment in getting our schools open since the 2016 flood. $170 million in money is going to be built over the next 3 years into our school system. Why is all that important? I like to eliminate excuses. That was always what I do with my management team. It was one of those things, what's your problem? Can we eliminate that? Well, Dr. Hest and John Forster, welcome to Summersville, and we're going to eliminate your excuses because I know you're going to have to bring quality doctors and quality medical staff to Summersville, and they're going to want to live in Summersville. And guess what? When people come, whether it's manufacturing or whatever it is, to live into a community, they want a good health care system. We're going to have that, and we do have that. We're going to have a good educational infrastructure system. We are going to have that. Roads and utility infrastructure, they are working on that, and it's better than most in the state. Recreational and social infrastructure, a new sports complex, a visitor center, Summersville Lake Parks, National Park. Those are so important things. So when you bring these doctors and stuff and you have to sell the spouses and the families on why should I live in Summersville and locate in Summersville, we've got it. We've got it. Send them to me, I'll sell them. You know, I've been blessed in life, and right now I'm at the end of my life, kind of semi-retired, and I could live anywhere in the world. And I choose to live here in Summersville, West Virginia, because I love this place. So when we go recruit those doctors, no excuses, docs, we've got them. I want to thank you, Dr. Gee, for having the vision to partner with us. I want to thank the members of our community for the financial supporting this area on so many projects, so many times. We ask the same people, and they always step up to the plate. $2 million in 90 days wasn't an easy task. Welcome to our new friends that are leading SRMC, and welcome to the people in West Virginia, WVU Medicine that's going to do that. And last but certainly not least, go Mountaineers.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, now I'd like to talk about my good friend Steve Analine. Of course, like Steve Ferguson's, best thing about Steve Analine is his lovely wife, Jamie. They have 3 children and 4 grandchildren. Steve also was a WVU graduate. Nicholas County and the state of West Virginia are the benefactors of Steve's many, many, many talents, and furthermore, the investment that his successes have made him and his family that they put back into our community and the great state of West Virginia. Steve has an incredible resume, but a couple of things that I would like to highlight. He is a founding member of the Summit Bechtel Scout Camp. He is a founding member of the Young Life Wild Ridge Camp that we're the benefactor of here in Nicholas County. And of course, an incredible feat that Steve pulled off with a co-chair is Steve was actually a co-chair of the WVU Medicine's Children's Hospital, which is an incredible asset to the great state of West Virginia. Please join me in bringing my good friend Steve Analine to the stage.
Good afternoon. Thank you for everyone coming. Great crowd. Mayor, thank you so much for all you do, your kind words, but we just try to keep up because you're always on the go and you're always doing some great things. And you've made Summersville, as Steve said, one of the greatest places in the world to live in this area. I feel blessed because I came here in '98 and was able to raise a family in this great community and county, and I feel very strongly that we're all very blessed to live in West Virginia. It's truly a great place to raise your family and educate your kids. So special thanks to all our guests from WVU. Fortunately, I've got to know a lot of you, and it's great to see you today. Once again, thanks to Mayor Schaefer, Mary Ann Taylor, Cindy Stump, and Ann Bailey for coordinating all this, which I know was a lot of effort. Special thanks to Gordon Gee, General James Hoyer, Dr. David Hess, Dr. John Forster, my friend Jorge Atiles, and Scott Burke for joining us today with Young Life. So thank you all for coming. Now, I grew up about 12 miles east of Morgantown in Preston County. So I've watched WVU grow from the time when they were building the PRT, and it felt like it was something out of the future. I don't know if the feelings are still the same about it today, Gordon, but anyway, I watched Morgantown grow. I grew up with WVU, and I can honestly say it shaped my character. Within less than a mile of my house, there was the WVU Agricultural Experimental Farm. amazing place. I was fortunate to become friends with the superintendent and pretty much had run of that farm and grew up around those guys, and they were great mentors and people. So I was blessed in that, in Arthurdale, West Virginia, to early on have an involvement with WVU. One of the greatest things that I've ever experienced in my life was being involved in this children's hospital project. And they often say the biggest reward you get in your life is not from what you get, from what you give. And that was truly the case, and I'm sure not only for myself, but many of you in this room, and all over this county and this state. The vision. Let me back up a little bit. I was fortunate to get on the advisory board of Children's Hospital probably 14, 15 years ago, when the hospital was part of Ruby. And I watched the vision come about when Albert Wright and Amy Bush came from Pittsburgh and joined forces with Gordon Gee. One of the first things they said is, we need a standalone children's hospital. It truly was the vision of Gordon Gee, Albert Wright, and Amy Bush. And it was methodically planned. It hit the ground about the time COVID hit. A lot of bumps in the road, but I don't know that anybody that I mentioned Children's Hospital turned away. Everybody in this county, I can guarantee you, and in this state, has a very giving heart. Knowing the importance of having a children's hospital there is obvious, for the fact that if we need it, our grandkids need it, our kids need it, we are within a quick drive or a helicopter flight if necessary. The good thing also about Children's Hospital was the fact that they have satellite hospitals and clinics all over this state, even in 3 other states. So through telemedicine, if the hospital in Bluefield has a problem, they can be connected with one of the best world-renowned neurologists in the country, one of the best pediatric heart surgeons, Dr. Masio, who, not at WVU, but at other places, has done heart transplants on 3-year-old babies with the heart the size of a teaspoon. Those people are taking care of our people. That is the level of professionalism that are at our hospitals. I learned long ago, the biggest asset of any business is its people. And oh my gosh, does WVU have some tremendous assets. The intellectual bank of people in Morgantown is incredible. In fact, on a world stage, they match up very well. There was a lot of people, and I talk about children's because it's passionate to me, and it was a dream, it was a drawing, and now it's a hospital that are taking care of kids as we speak and saving kids' lives as we speak. Many people not only gave financially, but rolled their sleeves up and said, how can I help? What can I do? What event can I have? My other brother, Steve, as we're often known, Steve Ferguson, jumped right in there. Mayor Schaefer, Rodney LaRose, Bill Bright, wherever you are, I saw you. This wouldn't have happened without those people, not only giving, but as Steve did, a match. As Rodney did, a large contribution, and then got in his Rolodex, which is massive, and started connecting with people. Thank you all for turning a $60 million campaign into an $81 million campaign. When WU starts these campaigns, obviously they do it to raise money, but a big part of it is to see how much engagement you're going to get from the community and the public. Not very long after we started that, we knew that was not going to be an issue, that everybody was engaged and everybody wanted to help. As you know, the hospital's open. I'm not going to go through the numbers, but I can tell you that there was a 10th floor that was left for future expansion. It's already being worked on for current use, and that'll be available in the near future. I'll say this about Children's, and then I'll move on, but Amy Bush continues in her role as the Chief Administrative Officer of Children's Hospital in Morgantown. She wants that hospital to be the best of the best, I can assure you. And she wants that care to be the best you can find anywhere in this country. And if you know Amy, she will settle but nothing but the best. She's an amazing administrator. She worked tremendously hard on raising the money. I'll tell another quick story about Amy. So Mayor Schaefer, County Commissioner Craig Chapman, you're here. Thank you for that. Stepped up and was going to give $30,000 each from the city and the county commission. When I told Amy that it raised $60,000, she said, "No, Steve, that money needs to stay in Summersville Pediatrics." So that money did stay at Summersville Pediatrics. There is ongoing fundraising for pediatrics here in Summersville, and there's good things ahead for the hospital and for Summersville Pediatrics. Dr. Hess has got, I've been fortunate to meet with him, and he's got good plans, growth plans. This hospital is going to continue to grow, and it's going to continue to serve this community and the surrounding communities as well. To switch gears a little bit, there's somewhat of a unknown part of WVU, I'll call it, is WVU Extension. Everybody thinks of 4-H when you think of Extension. I'm proud to say that one of the missions of my good friend Jorge was to merge WVU Extension and the Davis College, which is forestry, agriculture, and any of that kind of classes and teaching. So merging them two, I think, was tremendous. And I could tell you, Dr. Achilles has a vision that he is going to continue to grow Extension and continue to promote Extension to help West Virginia citizens with folks from Extension and Davis College. We all know that Extension Service has provided great summer programs for our kids for many years. Jamie is very familiar with that because she was the nurse at Nicholas County summer camps for 21 years, I think. And a lot of those years were when there was no air conditioning, and as they say, cracks in the walls that you could throw a cat through. So those were tough years, but they were great years. Our kids went through it. It impacted them very positively. And what I always said about 4-H was that's a lot of kids' vacation. That they maybe their dad works all the time. Maybe they don't have the ability to go on a vacation, and that was where they were able to come and interact in a very fun way with a lot of activities. The other thing that Davis College and Extension has provided for the state is multiple services to farmers and landowners. I've been fortunate to build a great friendship and relationship with Sheldon Owen, who previously was with Extension, and Dave McGill, who's over the Department of Forestry with the Davis College. They are extremely personable people. They are a wealth of knowledge. They go all over the state. They'll help anybody that has an issue. If you have an agricultural issue that you can't solve, they promote wildlife management. I've worked with Sheldon on food plots to make sure that the game has enough food, pollinator plots for bees and everything that's so important that we don't ever think about that that the world has to have for existence, these pollinators. And they do that every day. Sheldon is, you could talk to him at night, he's on the way to an event, on the way to a seminar, or on the way to a youth class. They always put on a youth class at Jackson's Mill for the kids, and they have a wild game dinner. And fortunately, Sheldon and I took care of supplying the food for the wild game dinner. So that was a big hit for the kids. They loved that. Jorge, Ann Barry, and Jennifer Williams, along with other members of the Davis College Extension team, again, like the hospitals, are all over the state. If you haven't been to Jackson's Mill in the last 4 or 5 years, you really need to take a Sunday afternoon and go. It is incredible, the renovation that was completed there and the things that are happening there. It's amazing what they've done. I remember going there a long time ago, and they basically have renovated it in a manner that'll be used for 4-H'ers and the public for years to come. It's just a great place to visit, and another jewel in the crown of West Virginia. I want to mention here that I have fortunately been involved early on with Young Life in Scottsburg. WU also strongly supports Young Life. Gordon has a nephew that has had a tremendous experience at one of the Young Life camps. Albeit it is taking a little bit longer than anybody thought, but our Young Life camp in Wild Ridge Camp is growing. They are very close to another expansion, which I think, Scott, would mean a 90-person dorm room for the kids. The growth is taking place, and they are too supported by WVU. That camp, when built out, and it'll be 3 or 4 years, will support 22,000 kids a year and give them hope, give them somebody to talk to, and introduce them to Jesus Christ, their Savior. It's an amazing camp. I've got to say that Scott Berg's an amazing person. He's one of the most tenacious people that I've met. And when he puts his mind to do something, there's a really good chance it's going to happen. So, Scott, thank you. Steve did a great job of talking about WVU medicine, and he's made it a point to be very involved with the hospital. First off, Steve and I we've been business partners through the years, but we're best friends, and we often have lunch and talk about maybe something that could be done better, or maybe somewhere that we could help make an impact. And my friend took it on to get on the school board and be part of getting these 2 schools built. And that's something that over 9 years couldn't be done. But when he said he was going to get on there, he was going to make that happen. And true to his word, he got everybody together, worked in a fashion that everybody is going to work together and get this done, which I think there's a lot to be learned of, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. But we're going to have a brand new grade school. We're going to have a brand new middle school, and a lot of that credit goes to this gentleman right here, and I can't thank him enough for that and other things. As they mentioned, there are so many things that go on that Steve and Joy will give to, and most people wouldn't notice or know. But I can tell you, they're very, very engaged. One other area of WVU that I recently was asked and humbly accepted a position on the Rockefeller Neurosciences Institute Advisory Board. Dr. Ali Rezai and his team are doing incredible things, world life-changing things in Morgantown, West Virginia. He has come close to refining and working on a way to cure Alzheimer's. He has had some success on curing drug addiction. These clinical trials are unbelievably expensive. But as the R&I continues to grow, and I think we had a good start with about a $4 million raise and give Dr. Zai some additional capital. But as it continues to grow, educate yourself and look at what Dr. Rezai is doing in Morgantown. He is going to, his goal, he has been able to cure addictions and in some cases relieve and turn Alzheimer's. He hasn't been able to do it on a wholesale scale, which is affordable across the country. So that's the goal. And I'm ever so proud that, you know, he's been on CBS, he's been in the Wall Street Journal. This is all happening in West Virginia, and we know that it's possible because the people in West Virginia can do it. They've learned how to do it, do a lot with a little, and it's just another tremendous area and another jewel in the crown of West Virginia with what's happening at the Rockefeller Neurosciences Institute. There is another local relationship that was strongly nurtured by Gordon Gee, who has been involved with scouting for many, many years. And Gordon has worked with Summit Bechtel Reserve and the administration of the Scouts in Dallas, and WVU has a tremendous footprint and involvement in the Summit Bechtel Scout Camp. Scouts are coming from all over to get to utilize a camp that we have here in our backyard. But equally important, if not more important, is Rob Ridgway, myself, and the folks from WVU are working pretty diligently to start a complex that will have the STEM program, science, technology, engineering, and math, the Science Adventure School, the Extension Service will be there. Many other opportunities will be created with a facility that one day we hope that every sixth grader can spend 3 days at camp in the summer. And then other grades can also go. We've hosted those kids, not on a large scale, but when we get to the point where that program is set up, you know, there will be an 8,000 square foot building with aquaculture laboratories, fisheries, wildlife management, science of sport, all the sporting events that Summit Bechtel would be available to them. And we want the kids to be exposed to what is available in West Virginia, so they may find a passion there, get their education, and stay in West Virginia and utilize it and work here. I think at the end of the day, that's what we're all working hard for, or most of us, is to keep our kids here where they're close, and we don't have to drive a long ways to see our grandkids, and they can grow up and have a great life in West Virginia. In summary, I'd just like to say, whether it's Summersville Hospital, WVU Children's Hospital, Summit Bechtel Reserve, Rockefeller Neurosciences Institute, WVU and the intellectual resources there are literally involved in our lives every day, and they are, providing education for our kids. They are Obviously it's one of the best schools in the country, but what they are providing is some of the best services in the country too, through Children's Hospital, through their involvement with the kids at SBR. And once again, I'd like to thank Gordon Gee for that. Gordon is a doer. He has done so many things for the university. When I look at it from growing up to where it's at now, he's built an amazing university, and amazing things are happening there. So I'm sure as our state and West Virginia continue to grow, not only will we be able to benefit from the kids coming out of there, but I encourage each of you to find out more about these projects and get involved in them. The value that you get back in what is a sometimes crazy world will give you a lot of peace. And anytime you can help a child, that's not a better day than that. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve and Steve. Okay, in his 10th year as West Virginia University president, we've had the opportunity to learn from his passion, purpose, and leadership. He can also be a funny guy. He's got some overriding things that he likes students to know. College is about self-discovery. Finding your purpose is the key to fulfillment. And then to West Virginians, he wants us to know that West Virginia University is flagship university, land-grant university committed to improving the lives and livelihoods in our beautiful state of our citizens. Let's welcome President Gee.
Thank you. I'm going to just stand right here. I'm just going to stand right here. How does that sound? Steve and Steve, the two of you are just fabulous. I mean, you're kind of like two pillars. You just stand there and make such a difference. I want to thank you. Steve has served on our hospital board, now on the system board, has been such a valiant soldier for the university. And Steve Anline. Steve, the other thing you didn't mention is athletics. Steve, we're going to win a lot of games this year, right, Steve? If not, I'll be fired again. So what can I say? So anyway, it's great to see everyone. Thank you for letting me be here, and more importantly, the two of them said what I really wanted to say anyway, which is the fact that we are here to serve. We're here to make the world better for everyone. We're here to build a democracy, and we're going to do it right through the things that we're doing at the university. And for that, I'm really grateful. So I really appreciate that. And so thank you. And Bill Bright, sitting over there. Bill has been my friend for 45 years. Bill and Patty. And Bill, I just want you to know that I'm deeply appreciative of all that you have done for me personally, for our university, and that $1 million match was important. Bill called up and said, well, we need to get this hospital going here, and so we did. And every day when I drive by Dr. Hess, when I see that, and I do come by here frequently, when I see that tower with that big WV on it, it gives me a lot of pride, because it really shows that this is West Virginia at its best. So I'm really grateful for that. So I was asked, I tell a funny story, but it's true, because some people said, well, I haven't seen you for a while, and I told a story about, and Azim Khan is right here, who's with me, but Azim and I and some other people, I go out late at night with the students. Kind of a crazy thing to do, but I do. And right before commencement, I was out on a Friday night, and I like to go downtown, get some pizza, and then we wander around to all of the events. As many of you know, I love to go to 21st birthday parties. It's really irritating, I know. But anyway, but we were walking out of this pizza parlor, and these three kids walked by, and one of them looked at me and he said, "Isn't that Gordon Gee?" And the one kid looked at me and said, "No," he said, "that's not Gordon Gee, that's impossible. He's dead." I want you to know I am not dead. I am here and having a good time. and continue to do so. I do love to tell one other story. You know, being the president of the university, David has a couple of daughters there. John Forrester is going to have his daughter coming, but one of the things I love to do is I love to go and eat at the residence halls, which is kind of fun. And I live in a university residence, and right down below me is a big set of residence halls, and I go down there and eat. And so this spring I was down there eating, and I sat down with a young lady, which I'll try to do, and I sat down with a young lady, and I said, "Tell me about you. I'm a freshman. Where are you from?" "I'm from New Jersey." And I said, "Well, what are you studying?" And she said, "I'm studying sociology." And I said, "Well, good. Do you live here?" "Yes." And I said, "Do you have a roommate?" And she said, "Yes." And then she looked at me and she said, "Well, when you were in college, did you have a roommate?" And I said, "Yes, his name was Abraham Lincoln." And I thought she would think that was funny, but instead her eyes kind of rolled around and she was looking around. Finally she said, "Well, did you guys get along?" So I want you to know she's doing very well at Marshall. So anyway, I want to say just a couple of things. First of all, Marianne, thank you. Come here. Let's give this lady a big round of applause, would you please? She is just like her beautiful daughter. She wears the greatest shoes, and as you know, Stephanie is our Vice President General Counsel and does a wonderful job for us, and I'm grateful for Stephanie being here, and Dr. Taylor, thank you very much. Mayor Schaefer, you and I have been together. This is your 18th year, and he told me that he's thinking a little bit about getting closer to that retirement age from politics. I've been in politics almost all my life, as you can imagine. I tell the story about Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson, who was the President of the United States, but before he became President of the United States, he was the president of Princeton University. And so, and then he was elected governor of New Jersey. And when someone asked him, "Well, why did you leave Princeton to become the governor of New Jersey?" he said he wanted to get out of politics. So I've been in it too, my friend. I just want you to know, and you've done a beautiful job. This is a great community, and we're grateful to be here. Let me just say a couple of quick things. The university, as Steve said, the university and its academic medical center is the largest employer in the state. We're the largest economic impact in the state. We create more jobs, but that's not what we're about. We're about making a difference in the lives of all the citizens of our state. We're about making certain that everyone has a purpose. We're about building a wall around West Virginia and keeping all of our young people here and letting Ohio pay for it. But I think that what is important is that you should know that ours is the people's university. I tell the story about the fact that in 1862, at the height of the Civil War, a young man by the name of Justin Morrell came to see Brigham Young. I don't know how that one came up. Abraham. I tell you, it's been a long day. They came to see. Well, I'm a devout Mormon, so I'm always thinking about Brigham Young. No, just kidding you. But anyway, so came to see Abraham Lincoln, and he said, "Mr. Lincoln," he said, "we're at the height of this war. And by the way, Lincoln should have been leaving Washington. The generals told Lincoln to leave Washington. Instead, he stayed right there. And so they came up with this notion together of building these people universities, these land-grant institutions, focused on agriculture and the mechanical arts, agriculture and engineering, because at that time, only the wealthy could go to school and there are very few higher education institutions. So they would sell land in far-flung places, give the land to a state, and the state would build a university. And our land was in Minnesota. And of course, in 1863, West Virginia became a state, the only state created by a sitting president with the presidential mandate. Small state, Wheeling was our state capital. Our state legislature didn't have the opportunity to really think about building both a land-grant university and a state university, which are now called big research universities. So they combined them. And by the way, there was a battle between Moundsville and Morgantown as to who would get the prison and who would get the university. Moundsville won, and so they got the prison. And so the state legislature combined these two institutions. And so were Michigan and Michigan State combined, were Iowa and Iowa State combined, were Indiana and Purdue combined. Interesting to think about it. So that's what makes this institution so important to the people of the state. Because as Steve said, as this Steve said, we do great research. We lead the world in terms of research on Alzheimer's. Think about that. In West Virginia. In terms of addiction research, a variety of other things. I love to tell the story that we have a couple of astrophysicists. They just won the Shaw Prize. Now, that won't mean a lot to you until I tell you the Shaw Prize is the most important prize given in the world for astrophysics. It's the Nobel Prize for astrophysics. And these two guys, they're husband and wife, by the way. And they won it because, now remember, I'm a lawyer, so I'm way over my skis, but they won it because they discovered that 150 million light years out there, they discovered fast radio bursts. I don't know what that means, but they discovered them. But the thing that they really discovered is they discovered gravitational waves, which means that even though we may think we're sitting in a chair, actually we are all moving in time and space. And the reason that they won the Shaw Prize is that discovery of gravitational waves is the final element of proof for Einstein's theory of relativity. Think about that. That's at our institution. But at the same time, and then I look at Jorge over here, Dean Attilas, we're the state's land-grant institution. We care about every citizen. This university belongs to the people of this state. All 1.8 million West Virginians. And what Steve talked about is exactly right. What we focus on community building. We focus on 4-H. We focus on making a difference in our schools. It's pre-K through life. We don't, education is important at the university, but it's really education of those young people that we have to be focused on. So we are focusing on that. Energy Express, our program in the summer to make certain that kids will not lose their ability to read. We focus on what is making a difference. So education, healthcare, you've heard about that. No child now needs to leave West Virginia to get great health care. No citizen needs to leave West Virginia to get great health care. And in fact, people are coming to West Virginia. 40% of Dr. Razai's patients are from overseas. Now that is a great story. In fact, the Mayo Clinic is one of the great medical centers in this country. If you've ever been to Rochester, Minnesota, right, David? If you've ever been to Rochester, Minnesota, ugly town, the only thing they have there is they have a great medical center called the Mayo Clinic. Why in hell's sake don't people come to Morgantown, West Virginia? We're beautiful and we have a great medical center. That's what we want. We want people to come here. For the first time in 50 years, our population is growing in this state. For the first time in 50 years, we've had companies that are valued over $1 billion invest in this state. We've had 6 of them in the last 18 months. Our university is central to all of that. And so we're meeting our obligations. We're meeting our expectations. But one thing we want to do is we want to get better. We went through a transformation process last year. I mean, it was not necessarily fun, but I would prefer to be the architect of change rather than its victim. I do not want any victims in West Virginia. I want us to be a place in which we all think only that we can get better. Our university is a great place. It is the land-grant institution. It's the flagship institution. It's the economic and social and cultural engine of the state. But we are, most importantly, your university. We belong to you. And so I'm grateful to be here today. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to be part of this state at this time. Yes, I am retiring next year. After 45 years, I deserve an opportunity to to do something, to get a real job, as my dad used to say. My father, every once in a while he'd say, well, son, why don't you get a real job? And I said, well, Dad, I'm the president of the university. He said, that's not a real job, so I'm going to live to his admonition. I'm going to be here in this state. I'm going to work diligently on behalf of the university. I'm going to work diligently on behalf of the people of the state, but I'm going to have an opportunity to make other kinds of contributions. The greatest gift that I have received is the opportunity to return to West Virginia. Let me just say that again. The greatest gift that I have ever received is the opportunity that you all have given me to serve this university. So I thank you very much. Everyone have a great day. Thank you.
Hey, President Gee, on
Oh.
behalf of the City of Summersville, our citizens, city government, council, we present this small gift to you and thank you for the many years that you've given this great state and your leadership, and enjoy this farewell tour. I know you don't like to call it that, but certainly.
Well, if I'd known I was going to receive this, I'd have retired earlier.
And then also, as you recognize my executive assistant, that was incredible in this speech today, and we'd like to give this to you. Okay, thank you, everybody. Oh, did you? Okay, they're going to raise the flag before we go.